Hot dog.
Okay, well,
Hot dog.
the recording has started. We got all of that. So that's great. The hot dog clip is good.
Hot dog.
But feel free to start when you want.
All right, here we go. And for those watching, as always, leave a comment. Tell us your concerns about the world. Just kidding. Keep it focused only to Star Wars, specifically the Bad Batch, and then also the Batman set picks that were released today, because that's all we're talking about in this pod today.
Wow.
Keeping it nice and clean.
That's what you think.
Yeah, it's going to end up being our longest pod ever.
Yes. Yes, it is.
All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Was It Good? Today, we'll be talking about the latest episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch, and we'll also discuss some photos around the new upcoming Batman movie. I'm Ravi. I'm here with my older brother, Krishna, no Arjuna, unfortunately, and Mr. Michael in the producer chair, fortunately.
Yeah.
We're missing one Arjuna, but we shall push on bravely without him. Huzzah.
Nice.
That was a very
Yeah.
convoluted-
You added some things. You took out some words.
Yeah.
So you would start a freestyle with it a little bit.
You know what's strange? This is the first time I'm wearing my glasses on the pod in a long time.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm just realizing how blind I am.
Oh, wow.
Because, like, looking at this, it's so sharp and clear.
Yep.
But even this prescription
Is old?
is old, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think I have to go to the optician now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Oh, man. What a trip that will be.
Anyway, who cares about my vision? Let's talk about
Dave Filoni's vision.
Tech's vision.
Text vision?
Tech.
Oh, Tech.
From Bad Batch.
Ooh, yeah.
He wears goggles, glasses.
He does. You know, every episode that goes by, he gets a little bit more snippy.
Really?
Oh, at least it feels to me like, I don't know if you start to notice, but like the Bad Batch are starting to get a little bit chippier with each other. There's like these like slight like underhand comments. You know, and I'm kind of here for it. It's like it's nothing crazy, right? It's not like they're gonna have a full out like civil war. We're not gonna see we're not gonna see Wrecker go on a killing rampage because somebody ate his burrito. We're not gonna see that. But I like that there's this like sort of like even when Omega was like was asking, tell me about the war, and Tech was like, oh, it was a war. There were battles on many different planets. And she was like, no, but what was it like? And he's like, I just told you. Like, you could hear him. He's just like, you idiot. I just told you what it was like. Like, that's the way he interprets the world. And so yeah, it's funny that you bring up Tech, because I feel like he's getting a little bit too big for his boots.
This was what, episode 8, I believe. So we are 8 weeks into the show. 8 glorious weeks of content.
Yep.
Have any of the, before we like jump into the actual kind of like what happened in this episode, are any of the Bad Batch members, any of them like stick out to you as a favorite, or are you kind of,
ooh, good question,
or are they kind of still too similar? Because obviously they are clones genetically altered, but are they, or does anyone stand out, I guess, right now?
That's a really good question, because it would be a flaw of the show if they, at this point, were still too similar, right? That would be a really, like, there wouldn't be enough of a dynamic between the members. That being said, I think they could definitely do a better job of making them, a bit, different. And I feel like for the most part they have. My favorite, the one who sticks out to me that I like the most, is Echo. And I'm not sure if that's because we've seen him before. He featured a little bit in Clone Wars with Rex and stuff like that. And also, because we've seen him before, we know what he was like before he was taken by the Empire, and then
Separatists.
Oh yeah, and then like experimented on and given like basically part Terminator, well, not Terminator, but part like cyborg. So he's got like super apparent growth, and we've spent a lot more time with him. But to me, I still like him the most, because he still has like a soldier's mentality. He's still trying to see where he fits in with the Bad Batch, since it's not like his home.
Yeah, he's not genetically altered. He's a reg.
He's a reg.
But
he is altered.
Right, because of the Separatists.
It's like a weird, and I like that dynamic. To me, he's like the most interesting. He sticks out the most.
I don't know if you're aware, but he's gotten the least amount of screen time so far.
Interesting, yeah.
And number 1 is Rambo or Hunter.
I don't know. Wrecker might challenge him for it.
I think it's I think it's still Hunter number 1, then Wrecker.
Yeah.
Then Tech, then
Echo. And then Crosshair's like a distant 6.
Crosshair. I mean, obviously, we got to see a lot of Crosshairs
finally
today.
Oh man, we'll talk about that.
Let's just jump. We can talk about it right now.
Man, his face
ugly.
burned.
Yeah.
And he like, so seriously, like, so Star Wars is well known for like maiming their characters, losing limbs and wearing masks and prosthetics and all this stuff. And Bad Batch, I guess we have our masked villain. I think so. For those spoilers, obviously, Crosshair gets like his face like severely burned from a downed ship's engine igniting
in his face,
on his orders, I might add. And then the last we see him, they put like this giant mask on him to stop the bleeding, so to speak. So I'm very curious to see how his armor changes or what his face looks like afterward.
I would feel bad if there were individuals out in the world that were trying to cosplay as Crosshairs, because now we have essentially 3 distinct looks. Like, dude changed his costume so quickly.
I'm so glad that we didn't decide to jump on that right away, because I think I was thinking about being Crosshair. What a nightmare that would have been.
That would have been a pain in the butt. Because, he had his OG armor, if you will, for all of one episode, half an episode this season, and then he's got his decked out, black or dark blue black armor.
Do you consider Crosshair still part of the Bad Batch? Because you know how you just asked that question, who on the Bad Batch like sticks out? Would you have included him in that?
I would include him in there because he is a villain, right? He is hunting them down per orders of the newly formed Empire, but I think in true television fashion, we're going to see that redemption piece of him.
You really think so?
I think he's going to be redeemed, and he will eventually rejoin the Bad Batch as their sharpshooter. It may not be at the end of this season, or if there are other seasons or whenever, but I think it will eventually happen.
Interesting. Who would you say your favorite, or the one that sticks out to you then?
I think the obvious one is either Wrecker or Hunter. Just because, again, Wrecker is interesting because he is this big kind of goof, but then we have seen the softer side when it comes to like Omega. And then what makes him super, super interesting, right, is the fact that his chip almost activated. We almost lost Wrecker in episode 7.
Yep.
And that makes him kind of interesting. And then Hunter, obviously, I think to me, he's probably actually the most interesting because he is the leader of this group. Yep. He has been offered alternatives, from like Rex.
I know, yeah.
And he would rather keep this squad together, and he's trying to figure out what to do, for the squad, which is a huge responsibility, right?
Yeah.
And then also he's got this kid, whether I don't know. I would assume that Hunter sees Omega as a kid, like a child, as opposed to necessarily like. Maybe like a father-daughter dynamic.
I think so, yeah.
I don't think he sees her as like
a sister,
a fellow soldier or whatever.
Well, it's really interesting that you bring that up, right? So they all refer to themselves as like brothers, like we're brothers.
Yeah.
And I totally don't get that impression that they're like she's a sister. It's totally like this is at the very least like my niece that I'm stuck with for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a very like protective type role, which guardianship. Yeah. So, episode 8 overall, I think, was a very solid episode.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing in this episode was not the majority of it. It's what happened in the last 60 seconds or so, which is obviously the return of everyone's Clone Wars favorite bounty hunter, Cad Bane.
Cad Bane
just popped right back in as if nothing had happened.
Yeah, where has he been?
I actually was looking through. The last time we see Cad Bane was in the crisis, the Naboo crisis in the Clone Wars. Oh. It's pretty early on in the Clone Wars season. I think it's like season 4.
That's the last time we see him?
Yeah. Wow. And he basically, his whole job and role was he basically captured the Chancellor.
Right.
On Dooku's orders. And Dooku's obviously being controlled by Sidious, so...
Go figure.
Just think about that.
So Palpatine basically got himself captured.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
So that's the last time we see him. Obviously, the whole thing is stopped. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the one that kind of stops and foils that entire plan.
Yeah.
And in that episode, you actually see Cad Bane basically like curse out Obi-Wan Kenobi and go like, "I'm gonna get you. Like, I want my revenge. Very similar to like a Darth Maul. Like, Kenobi is the source of all my problems. I'm going to get him. So I think that's
so. I actually don't remember this. So you're saying Cad Bane and Obi-Wan have a thing?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that seems to lend itself that Cad Bane's appearance in Bad Batch could this be a precursor for his appearance in the Obi-Wan show?
Maybe. I mean, if we think that he's going to survive
Yeah.
the next 10 years or so.
Oh yeah, right.
Because remember, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is between 3 and 4 or after Bad Batch.
Yeah.
But so that was the last time we see Cad Bane on the Clone Wars series. So for Cad Bane, between that event, those events, and like now, it's a couple months.
Yeah.
For us people in the real world, it has been 8 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that arc ended in 2012.
Yeah.
So excuse me, 9 years. I can't do math. It's been 9 years.
Yeah, longer.
It's been a very, very long time. And it's kind of interesting because he just shows up and he's completely Cad Bane doing his Cad Bane things.
Yeah. I mean, so first of all, Cad Bane straight up is taken directly as a Western, like it's got the hat, the toothpick, a gunslinger. Like that's his archetype. That's what they're basing him on. And in true Cad Bane style, the music, before you even see him, the music starts playing. It's like that like Western feel to it. You just see like the dead bodies, and it's like, oh, who did this? And then Cad Bane steps out, cool as a cucumber, faster than Hunter, outdrew Hunter, shot him in the chest, which was I was surprised by that. I thought how it was going to go down was Cad Bane was going to come out. They were going to shoot each other, shoot at each other, and then Hunter and Omega would escape.
Right.
We have quite the interesting development. Cad Bane outdraws Hunter. Is clearly quicker, which to me means that they're going to set them up to like have a duel later on, right? So if we know that he's faster than Hunter, that's an obstacle for Hunter to try and overcome later. And obviously, he gets away with Omega. Now, the question is, and maybe this is obvious, but to me it's not because I'm still a little lost with the whole Camino thing. Is this the bounty hunter that the Camino people sent after to get Omega back?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe
that's who they were referencing earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that's who they were referencing. I mean, which gets things are a little confusing, right? Because Fennec, I thought, was hired by the Caminos, but that might not be the case.
Or it is, and Cad Bane's
another one,
a totally different one.
Yeah.
Or
it's they put out a bounty, and the Bounty Hunter Guild is like go after.
Because that's exactly what the Emperor did when sending bounty hunters after Luke, right? They sent out a bunch.
Yeah.
The IG-88, Boba Fett, then all the other scum.
Yeah, so I think that's interesting there. But I think the other thing with Cad Bane that's really, really cool is Cad Bane never got his full arc in Clone Wars because in 2012, as we all know, Disney bought Lucasfilm, and then
good point.
Clone Wars kind of went through a weird changeover, went from Cartoon Network to Netflix to Disney Plus now. So a lot of fans are thinking that we'll finally get the full Cad Bane arc, whether that means he ends in Bad Batch or he just kind of rides off in the distance and, something else happens.
Yeah.
But when there was the big changeover from from Disney's takeover of Star Wars and everything, a couple of Clone Wars storyboards and previs videos kind of leaked or placed out online. One of them specifically is a showdown between Cad Bane and Boba Fett.
Oh,
so
fuck.
very similar to like what this sequence was, but obviously instead of Boba Fett, it's Hunter.
Yeah.
And in the actual previs, Cad Bane shoots Boba Fett in the head. On his helmet, and that's how that dent, the infamous dent, ends up in Boba Fett's helmet.
Holy shit.
So that was like one of the big arcs there, and I think Dave Filoni has said this, I don't remember when, but the idea behind Cad Bane is he's supposed to kind of pass the bounty hunting mantle, if you will, as the best bounty hunter over to Boba.
Oh,
right?
shit.
That's kind of Cad Bane's thing because he is a very well-known, dangerous bounty hunter, and that's who Boba Fett eventually becomes.
Yeah.
I don't know if in that arc Boba Fett is the one that kills Cad Bane, but I think it's interesting that Cad Bane has been brought back to life, if you will, in Bad Batch.
Bad Batch, yeah.
Because it now kind of opens the door, very kind of nicely for Boba Fett to appear and show up.
That's nuts.
And now that Bane has Omega,
Yep.
it is very possible that Boba Fett is going to save Omega directly or indirectly, and potentially, end Cad Bane. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting.
So a couple things that we got to establish, right?
Yep.
Boba is still young. It's about Omega's age, correct?
Roughly, I would say like that 10, 11, 12, whatever.
Yeah.
There.
And the last time we see Boba, he's running with that other bounty hunter crew. Is that correct?
He's running with, I
What's
forget her
face?
name, but she's a
bounty
tall,
hunter, right?
gray, bounty
Yeah,
hunter.
with like the
Ponytail.
long hair,
Yeah.
ponytail. So I kind of like that, and it lends credence to the whole thing because if there are multiple bounty hunters out, let's say Fennec and Cad are. They're both after Omega. We don't know if it's from the same source or different sources. It's kind of irrelevant. The fact is that at least one source is hunting for Omega. At least two, to be honest. So it only makes sense that if Boba's going to get involved somehow, because we know at this point he's learning the ways of the bounty hunter, like as we speak. He's running with a crew, a bounty hunting crew. They are obviously going to be doing bounties because that's what bounty hunters do.
Right.
This seems like it might be the biggest score this side of the galaxy, right? Someone's put out a bunch of money for Omega. I kind of love it. I mean, I'm going to get my Boba versus Omega showdown, I think.
Potentially, yeah.
But he has to go through Cad Bane, obviously, first.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's going to get interesting. But the other side of me that thinks that this may not happen is when you look at the show. The show is called Bad Batch, right? It's
True.
It's not called Bad Batch, and then we're gonna have a 1 or 2 episode thing where Boba Fett shows up and saves the day. So I think he may show up, but I don't know if we're gonna get the full blown, Boba Fett in his helmet, showdown with Cad Bane.
Yeah.
I think what may end up happening is, Boba Fett is just another one of the many bounty hunters that is coming after Omega.
You're gonna try and punch me in the face, I think, for this. Mm-hmm. But there is another very famous bounty hunter who's alive at this time, who may even be the same age as Omega and Boba.
Mando?
Yes.
Or Din
Djarin.
He is alive, but right now, so remember in the Mandalorian show, we see flashbacks of when he was a kid.
Yeah,
and it's during a separatist invasion of whatever planet. So yeah, it's right now. He's a kid.
Yeah,
but remember, it's Death Watch that takes him away. So if anything, he's not bounty hunting right now. He's learning the ways of the Mandalorian.
So I guess the question is this: do you see any Mandalorian stuff happening with the Bad Batch? We know they're on they're looking for money,
right?
And it seems like
the Mandalorian or
no, a Bad Batch. They're looking for money.
Looking for money, yeah. I don't think we're gonna see Mandalorian just because again, it's just too cookie cutter. Like everything falls into place.
Sure.
Like this thing known as the Star Wars galaxy, right?
It's supposed to be big.
It's supposed to be big.
Yeah.
If you start doing all of these kind of Tom and Dick and Harry,
everybody was a neighbor at some point,
right? It kind of takes away of how big this thing could be. Like I like the idea that the Bad Batch story is doing its thing over here. Din is learning the ways of Death Watch, whatever, over there
on Mandalore.
Mandalore is falling as we speak in the show right now for Bad Batch. It's under siege by the Empire. The Mandalorians are trying to fight back, but at some point there's going to be that big thing where oh my god, what is it? The chick he plays Gus.
Oh, Saw Gerrera.
No, not Saw Gerrera. Gus.
Oh, Gus. What's his name? Oh, in the wow, I
Gus
Breaking
from
Bad.
Cinderella.
No.
Gus
Fring.
Gus Fring, yeah.
In Mandalorian.
I
totally forget, though.
I can't remember. That's
what was his
embarrassing.
name? The one with the Darksaber.
Yeah, why can't we remember his fucking name?
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon. Holy
Thank you.
crap.
Saved by the producer.
Yeah, Moff Gideon at some point is going to go and not nuke, but like basically blow up and attack Mandalore with the Empire and all that stuff.
What?
So
just the rebellion? So the rebellion's it's not even formed, but it's the resistance that as it happens or is
No,
now.
there's
never gets involved with that. Or
not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's his own separate thing. Because remember, the other thing too is Mandalorians are prideful people.
Yeah.
They're not going to go and accept help.
Correct.
From anyone. So
definitely at this point too.
Yeah.
They're still like,
yeah.
hoorah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea that Din is doing his own thing. There is no kind of crossover here. It would be kind of annoying. Something that just occurred to me, if it is Death Watch, actually, you know what? It's the OG Death Watch, the good side, not the bad side that was corrupt by Darth Maul. So never mind.
What were you gonna say though?
I was thinking, I was like, oh, is it the evil red painted Mandalorian Death Watch version? Because if that's the case, then Din may have come into contact with Darth Maul, but it's the normal blue.
You're talking about the flashbacks in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Which one he came in contact with?
Yep.
Yeah. The non-corrupted Death Watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So far.
That we're aware
That's
of.
a good point too.
Yeah.
Is it the same person, just corrupted, and then they change their armor, or is it a different person and different armor?
No, it's just corrupted. Same person, different armor.
Yeah, sort of like follow a different leader type of thing. Yeah. New management.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So, Cad Bane shows up. I screamed like a little girl.
You did?
Yeah, because I was like, it's Cad fucking Bane.
Okay. So you sent that text, and I was like, I can't tell if you were mad or excited. And I thought you were mad for some reason.
No, I was very excited.
I thought you were like, fuck you, Dave Filoni, you did it again. You just don't know how to leave stuff
You made
alone.
it great, Dave. You did good.
Dave.
I wouldn't have guessed Cad Bane showing up in Bad Batch at this point.
Okay.
I mean, it was always a possibility.
Yeah.
Let's be a little bit bold here.
Okay.
And if you look at the Clone Wars series, because what's happening right now is any project that Dave Filoni is a part of, any characters in the Star Wars universe are all coming together and connected, right? So, for example, Fennec is a character that was introduced in Mandalorian, shows up in Dave Filoni's Bad Batch.
The Ageless Wonder.
Cad Bane, same thing, was in Clone Wars, shows up in Bad Batch. Are there any other characters that you can think of
that are Dave Filoni's?
That are Dave Filoni's or part of one of those things?
There are like 4 that I can think of that I want to show up at some point.
Okay, let's hear them.
The Jedi younglings, the Wookiee youngling and all
Oh,
that.
that's right. Yeah.
What the hell happened to them? And I want them to have survived because they were kind of cute and adorable. First of all, the idea of a Wookiee Jedi, I've never seen before. And the fact that it was a youngling Wookiee Jedi.
It was pretty cool.
It was awesome. And that whole arc, too, was great. So those are characters that I want to see what happened to them. And it probably won't happen because they feel like side characters that aren't that important. Mm-hmm. They were just used to sort of, show this like little aspect of the galaxy.
Well, the Jedis.
The Jedi. Right.
How they get their kyber
lightsabers.
Yeah.
And that was cool. But in terms of like major characters, I feel like... At least I'm drawing a blank. I feel like most of his characters have been wrapped up, like we know. I was going to say, what was Darth Maul's brother, unofficial brother?
Savage.
He's dead.
He's dead.
So he can't come back, presumably. You never know. The Night Mother. She's...
Mother Towson.
Dead?
She kind of just became one with the creepiness.
Oh, she became one with the dark side.
Well, she was never a Jedi, but they had to connect to the Force. They were Force sensitive, or Witch sensitive.
But they relied on the dark side more, right?
Their energy is similar, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't. I mean,
you hit the nail on the head. I think in terms of like my bold, insane prediction, right? Another character who was a fan favorite that we don't know what happened. Well, we do know how it ends because there's a book, the novelization, or not novelization, but the book that kind of tells her end story is Asajj Ventress.
Oh yeah, Ventress.
Now she does. Spoiler, big spoiler, is she does die at some point.
Yeah,
but she could show up. She could show up in the show.
That would be sick.
Which would be, I think, amazing.
She's one of the most interesting characters Dave Filoni's ever come up with, but she's also one of the more interesting Force users.
I don't know if he came up with a
Ventress.
I'm not. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, she's one of the most interesting characters who showed up in the animated shows.
Yeah.
Like by far. Like you want to talk about someone who starts off evil and then has like a really nice progression and doesn't end up evil or good, just like right in this gray area, and it's so well done, and somehow you're satisfied with that. It's not like Ventress is like the best example of that.
Because the last we see of her in the Clone Wars, she's obviously done with the dark side. She's done with Dooku and all of them. She then...
Oh, and she has history with Boba.
She does have history with Boba. She has history with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
But she then kind of does bounty hunting
as
well.
Shit.
So she's another one that could be, especially if Omega is like this high-priced bounty.
What is that movie that's a bunch of assassins and the whole movie is just these assassins killing each other? You love it. It's old, stylish. Anyway, the whole movie is just basically like just all these assassins fighting off against each other. I want there to be an arc in Bad Batch of that. Just bounty hunters coming out of the woodwork, so you see
attacking each other.
You have like you have Cad Bane and Boba and Fennec all in the fray fighting over Omega. That would be amazing. I'm gonna figure out what the name of that movie is, but yeah.
Something Aces, yeah?
Oh yeah, Something Aces.
Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces, is that what it is?
Smoking Aces.
That movie.
Yeah,
I
that
never
one.
actually saw it. It's just
That one I haven't seen that forever, but yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah. You loved it.
But yeah, I think Asajj Ventress showing up, I think that's gonna be my current big bold prediction.
I love that. I forgot all about her.
Like, think about like the fans would go completely nuts. Like,
I hope they would.
I think she's like second favorite to like Ahsoka.
Really?
Right. Like, I remember during the Clone Wars and when we got to see some of her, like especially at Celebration, a lot of people like lost their shit. So I think it would be really cool, and it would be nice to see her at least one last time before her inevitable end.
In the novels.
Yeah, in the like how
in the words.
How shitty is that? Like, you build this great character and then you have to kill her off in a novel that nobody's gonna read because words are hard.
That's not true. First of all, what's the book that she dies in?
I don't even remember.
You don't know? Okay.
Yeah.
What time period do you know?
I believe it's like a year or two after.
Oh, that sucks.
Clone Wars. So it would be a very kind of quick
So if she
thing.
appears, it's weeks before she dies.
Potentially.
Wow, that's. Do you think? Hey, let me ask you this. Actually, do you think there would ever be crossover? So, like, let's say, would they ever put events that happen in a novel and just put it in an animated show? Like, and it's not that you're doing the novel, but let's say, like, so Ventress dies in the novel. Would they ever show that scene in a show?
Cobb Vanth. So Cobb is a character introduced in The Mandalorian Season 2, played by Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah.
Wearing the Boba Fett armor. So in the show, he tells Mando how he got the armor, and it's all flashback. That piece and that flashback stuff is actually in Aftermath, which is the book series that takes place between episodes 6 and 7.
Right.
So it's not a direct kind of, this is what was written in the book and this is what we did.
And that's
in
what
the show.
they showed, yeah.
But it's pretty close. So they have kind of done it. So it is very possible that they could, maybe they will add more detail to what happens in the book, so it's still, canon.
Right.
But then again, maybe they'll just say fuck it and retcon it because,
it's Disney.
Well, the big one might be like how many fans actually read the book in comparison to like how many fans are actually
that's actually
watching
a question
the show.
For your contact at Disney. But like how, because that's a great question, right?
Yeah.
If you look at Lucas Publishing or Disney Publishing, like whatever the name is how much pull and say do they get over the property that's known as Star Wars versus Disney Plus versus studios, right?
Well, isn't
like who figures out the story?
They have
what has
they have the
precedence?
Star Wars story group.
Okay, and
so
they
it's
oversee all of it.
Yeah, they oversee everything so that everything is connected across the various mediums.
Right, that makes the most sense.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I'm sure, and it seems like though they would want consistency because you would devalue your own vision if you start changing things. It's like, well, the book doesn't.
Well,
match with
remember
this
that
now.
before Lucasfilm was purchased by Disney, that's what was happening, right? You had certain writers and publishing groups. They were doing their own thing.
They were, but they were still being overseen by
Lucasfilm.
By Lucasfilm's storyboard. It's a lot looser than Disney,
right?
But things still had a place and time, and still had to be approved. So what would happen? Like Michael Stackpole, who wrote the Rogue Squadron series, this is way back before Disney. He would approach Lucas and be like, I have this idea, they would be like, okay, kind of give us your plot outline
Right.
of the series, and they'd look it over and be like, okay, this works. And he ended up introducing, there's a pilot in there named Corran Horn, who ends up being a very prominent Jedi.
I'm sorry. Corran Horn?
Corran, I think his name was Corran.
That's a weird name.
And then his last name was, I think, Horn.
That's
it doesn't
funny.
matter. Don't get too hung up on that because it doesn't matter anymore. But he ends up becoming. He's force sensitive. He ends up getting trained by Luke. He's a very important character when that outside the galaxy invasion force comes in.
So
force immune.
So you're aware about the Rogue Squadron movie that's coming out, right? In a couple of years.
I'm aware that there's a movie. That's all I know.
So I wonder if that's gonna be part of it because the movie takes place, I believe, after like 7, 8, and 9.
No fucking way.
I believe so. I might have made that up.
Are you making that up?
I think it's after the events of Episode 9. Maybe. Or I'm making this up.
And it's called Rogue. All right, so we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, we'll need to look into that.
Because that would be
but
very interesting.
But I wonder, though, if like that Corran Horn guy, if that's going to be a character, right? Because Rogue Squadron.
Fan favorite.
Yeah. Star Wars is always cool when it's about the spaceships and all that stuff, but Star Wars still, for whatever reason, has that Force element in there.
Yeah.
In some way.
It's part of the magic.
It's part of the whole thing. So I wonder if that's going to be the way to like kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Be interesting, yeah. Though Rogue Squadron doesn't really, I mean, of all the iterations of Rogue Squadron that I've read, played, dreamed about, there's always an Empire to
yeah,
verse
that's
them, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
it's very integral to what Rogue Squadron is. So doing it after 789 would be a very different direction that they'd be taking it.
That
which
would be
which is not a bad
so,
thing.
I mean,
But
I would imagine, like, let's pretend this insane weird thought I have is true, and it is after 7, 8, and 9. You know, even though the First Order was defeated on the planet with Exegol or whatever, you know, just like the Empire, when it fell after Episode 6, there were still factions all over the place. So
warlords,
and you know, there's all this equipment and soldiers and money and all that fun stuff. So, you know, remember like we saw in Episode 8 in that amazing scene, Canto Bite, where the guy's like, where do you think how do you think the stuff is made? Money or war?
Yeah, I still don't understand why.
I don't understand.
Benicio, yeah, never mind.
Benicio del Toro's character, he's an amazing actor.
Waste of an amazing actor.
Waste of a fucking amazing actor. Like, that whole... I'm so mad now.
He was great.
So
it was important.
Fucking mad.
It was important that they lose. It was important that they lose and they get betrayed because.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that part.
No, and that he did what he did because he's a criminal.
That's not what I'm talking
through
about.
And through.
They didn't bring him back for Episode 9. It's like what a great like character actor, and it's this little thing in Canto Bite, and then they don't even touch on it in Episode 9.
Yeah, there's nothing.
The whole moral of that story is totally forgotten, and it's like, all right,
well,
yeah, it was very
JJ
pointless.
And Episode 9 for that.
I do.
Okay.
Because I love 8. I love Episode 8.
Eight's maybe one of the best.
This podcast is called "Was It Good?"
At least the second best.
It's called "Was It Good?" Not I'm a fan of Episode 8.
It's called Was It Good? Not Was It Canto Bite?
There we go. Anyway, let's ask that question, Krishna.
Ooh.
Was Bad Batch Episode 8 Reunion good?
Ooh. It was good. It was great because we saw Crosshair come back. Crosshair got a facelift. Sort of. Cad Bane returned. So lots of like interesting developing parts, more questions than answers as usual, but very enjoyable, I would say. For me. Ravi, was this episode of Bad Batch good?
It was wonderful.
I'm surprised.
Again, I mean, the big thing here, the overall action sequences, you know, Crosshair coming after him, that whole thing was great. And, you know, I love a good battle sequence. And then the fact that you ended it with Cad Bane, that reveal at the end, just makes it over the top. It's just, you're already on this high adrenaline junkie kick.
Yeah.
And then you see a fan favorite Cad Bane, and it's like, oh, come on. Yeah, so fucking great. It was a really, really good episode, which I enjoyed.
Nice.
Which is great. So that's our little quick discussion on Bad Batch. Last thing we want to talk about is our Was It News? And the big one is that there was Batman set picks, or excuse me, not Batman, but Flash picks from the new DCE, whatever. Was it DCEU?
I I have no idea.
Whatever their
I think it is.
whatever their universe is called.
Yeah, DCU.
Set picks from the new Flash movie came out. They've started filming, but the big ones, the big ones here is Michael Keaton is reprising his role as Batman, and we got to see an early look. This is Christian. I'm showing Christian right now.
I'm seeing this for the first time.
This picture of Michael Keaton.
He looks good.
Right? He's got his hair kind of short. Someone said how his haircut was in Batman back in, what was it, 95? 96?
Yeah, it's old.
It's very old. Actually, it might even be older than that. 89.
89.
Wow. It's as old as me. So a couple questions here. Michael Keaton clearly has figured out the Fountain of Youth because he looks great.
Yes.
But the bigger question here is, it's been 30 years, Batman. Why haven't you changed your hairstyle in 30 fucking years?
Why would you? There's a thing called like a timeless classic.
Okay.
Right? If your hairstyle is a timeless classic, you don't need to change it.
I don't know about that. I feel like Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Billionaire.
Same hairstyle.
Billionaire.
Forever.
That's the world billionaires in the real world, they change their hairstyle every now and again.
If there's one thing we know about Bruce Wayne, it is this, okay?
Consistency is key.
Because, well, not just that, but he lives, breathes, and is Batman. Like this like thing of a haircut is not important to him, okay? He spends his time training, meditating, taking cold showers, beating up bad guys, okay? That's what he spends his focus on.
How do you know he takes cold showers?
I don't. That's a James Bond thing, actually, technically from the books.
Really?
That was a James Bond. James Bond takes cold showers. I assume Batman would do the same thing, but because it's like a badass thing to do. It's like it's to test your willpower. It's also supposed to be healthy for you.
How's Jeff Bezos' haircut been changing?
He's bald.
Oh. He used to have hair though.
Did he?
But at some point he just like.
Yeah, he also used to have a wife.
He used to have a wife.
He also used to be welcomed on this planet, but soon, not so much.
I don't know. I'm sure the rich people.
Don't worry, he's listening in on this device over here, which God. I won't say out loud because it'll set your devices at home off. So yeah, that's Michael Keaton. Yeah. Looks good. I'm very excited for this movie.
So this is the Flash movie, not the Batman.
Yeah,
movie.
not the Batman movie.
Oh, okay, wow.
We really fucked that one
I
up.
didn't even. So there's a Flash movie?
Yes, there's Flash. It's going to be the Flashpoint movie.
Is it with who's it starring? Who's Flash?
Ezra.
He's doing it.
Yeah, he's going to be
reprising his role.
I believe so.
Okay.
But the reason I call it the Batman movie is because Michael fucking Keaton's in it as Batman.
Sure.
No offense to all the other characters and actors, but it's Michael fucking Keaton, Batman. Like, it's the Batman movie. It's not the Flash movie.
It's interesting because we're gonna have like 3 Batmen.
No Ben Affleck though.
I know, so right, but I'm just saying within a few years we're gonna have 3 Batmen. We have obviously Ben Affleck, we have Michael Keaton, and we have
Roger Patterson.
Robert Patterson.
No, we're going with Roger.
Roger Patterson.
And then Robert. And then we also earlier on, or a couple years ago, we had Christian Bale.
Yes, Christian Bale. So yeah, it's the Batman role has gotten a lot of people.
And then the last set pick that was leaked or came out was a photo of Sasha Calle.
Okay, yeah, Sasha Calle.
Playing the DCEU version of Supergirl.
Oh, so she's Supergirl.
She is Supergirl. So we're going to get a new live-action version of Supergirl.
Why are they calling this Flash? You might as well just call it Justice League 2, Lost in New York.
I mean, because in Flashpoint, the animated movie, which is based off of a graphic novel, is basically
still Flash.
Yeah, it's Flash. In the movie, he runs back in time to save his mother from being shot.
Right.
Which causes a ripple in the speed force and time, which causes weird things to happen. So, for example, like Superman doesn't crash in Kansas; he crashes somewhere else.
Russia.
Thomas Wayne isn't shot. Bruce Wayne is shot, and Thomas Wayne
becomes Batman.
Yeah,
and Bruce's mother becomes Joker.
Joker, yeah.
I mean, I love the idea of it, but. So, do you think though Flashpoint's going to set up the alternate movie? So, like, this
I
stuff
think
happening?
or
are they just going to not do that?
It depends. I mean, Warner Brothers is at a very interesting spot right now where
they can't help themselves.
Fans are demanding the Zack Snyder trilogy to be completed.
Yes,
obviously Batman vs Superman, Justice League, and then whatever this third piece is. So there's that. Then there's also the fact that with Flashpoint, you can fix some things in terms of certain actors and actresses not wanting to reprise roles or got too expensive or whatever. You can change a couple of those things up. Or they may fuck it up. Who knows? Like, honestly, who knows? Because the other thing, too, is remember, Warner Brothers or Warner Media is under a sale or a transition as well.
They are?
Where AT&T offloaded them to Discovery.
Right.
So because I think it's going to end up being called, what, Warner Discovery or Discovery Warner?
Discovery Warner.
Something really weird like that. So... Yes. So it's interesting. Like, Discovery is the new parent company of Warner.
Yeah.
They could look at this and be like, Flashpoint's stupid, can it? And let's finish the Schneider, or they could be like, fuck it, greenlight every single idea that you have. Let's just fucking do it.
I mean, it feels like that's kind of what they're doing. To be honest, you have a Robert Pattinson Batman. Yep. You have Michael Keaton as Batman. You have Flashpoint. What else are they doing? They're doing a bunch of stuff, right?
Well, there's also the Black Adam movie with The Rock that's coming out. Yeah. There is Shazam 2, which is coming out. Suicide Squad is coming out soon. There's there's the new Aquaman movie that I think is in development.
They're doing another Aquaman movie,
right? But not without
the first one.
Not without what's her face has been recast.
Oh, they recast Mermaid Woman.
Idiot person.
Whoa. We don't weigh in on we don't weigh in on that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Ravi did. I'm excusing myself.
Christian's protecting himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall though, they've got a lot of shit coming, and I don't know if any of it is connected or if it's, I don't know. It does feel like a lot of people are going to get confused.
Are they going to greenlight a Joker too?
Sure, why
with
not?
Joaquin?
You know what? I've greenlit it. Go for it.
You greenlit it?
I greenlit it. Go for it.
That's why it makes no sense.
Yeah.
How involved is Schneider in this Flashpoint? Do we know? Because
he's not involved.
Set it up.
He's not involved in Flashpoint
at all.
At all.
So it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Like you know what? I commend Warner Brothers for giving up trying to be Marvel and just taking every idea and throwing it against the wall. And good or bad, it's like, this is the DCEU. And it's a beautiful Picasso. Doesn't make sense. None of the pieces fit, but it's entertaining nonetheless. Hopefully, maybe have a nice day. I
do want to correct one thing. Ben Affleck is reprising his role.
He is?
As the DC version of Bruce Wayne, yeah.
Wait, when? In this movie?
In this, it just says he's reprising. It doesn't actually say if it's this movie or what.
What the hell?
But I feel like this movie is going to run through, like, I mean, they're filming, obviously, right? They've started filming. That's why you have set pictures. But I feel like it's going to run through, like, some kind of production hell or nightmare, either because the studio doesn't know what's up or the actors and actors are just whatever about it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
it's being directed by Andy Muschietti.
Okay. I don't know who that is, but, we'll see.
He did. Best of luck to Andy.
He did.
Yeah, best of luck to Andy.
He did quote this. He said, "The interaction and relationship between Ezra Miller's character Barry and Affleck's Wayne will bring an emotional level that we haven't seen before." Which I think means that Ben Affleck will actually try and act this time.
Wow.
As opposed to whatever we got in Justice League.
Oh my God.
Which was,
look,
flat. He was very flat. Which is fine. It's fine. He did it.
He's dead on the inside in that movie because that's what the character demanded.
You know what's crazy? This is probably the most insane thing about this set picture stuff is the film is still right now set for release November 4th of 2022. That is roughly.
That's like over a year away.
That is
like
1 months. That's 1 year and 5 months away. So a year and a half. So 17 months.
That sounds right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're right on target.
They're gonna get this whole thing done between now and then. But between now and that release, we'll have the new Black Adam movie, the new Shazam movie will be coming out. Robert Patterson's
That's the only
Batman.
one I'm excited for.
That one looks good.
Suicide Squad, I think, will be good too.
Suicide Squad will be interesting.
Those are the only two I'm excited for.
I mean, the first Suicide Squad was.
Oh, it was awful.
It was a thing,
but it wasn't James Gunn.
It was a thing,
and John Cena wasn't in it.
Is that what you're most excited for? Is John Cena?
He's the only one I can remember who's in it, but there's a bunch of other really good people.
Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester's in it?
Idris Elba's in it.
Idris Elba's in it? Oh
Yes.
shit! Now I'm
Did
excited.
you even watch the trailer?
No,
No,
he
I
didn't.
haven't watched it.
Oh.
I don't want to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it Margaret Robbia?
Margot Robbie's reprising.
Yeah,
her
she's
role.
reprising of Harley Quinn.
Okay.
There's no Will Smith, which I'm kind of bummed.
No, that's probably for the best.
No, he was good in the first Suicide Squad.
I mean-
It was the only good thing in the first movie.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a take. There was no good thing in the first one.
It was an okay movie.
Suicide
And-
Squad?
Yeah, and Learman's already
What?
said that he's gonna go and watch the first one in theaters again
Wait, I'm sorry.
when it's re-released.
Are you going on record here and saying Suicide Squad was an okay movie?
No, it's a
This
terrible
is after
movie.
years of you saying it was dog shit.
I'm not going to the theater to watch Introduction the movie again.
Introduction movie
Nice,
again.
and he
That's all
refuses
they
to
do.
ever say it ever again as well. I love it. Commitment.
But yeah, so that's the new Flash set pictures, not the Batman movie, even though there will be, as of right now, 2 Batmen in the movie.
But get Christian Bale in there. Just do it.
Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, it's true. I hope. You know what? I hope so.
Do you think they're doing multiple Batman?
The Batman.
Do you think they're doing multiple because there's all this crazy rumors about the new Spider-Man 3 having multiple Spider-Men?
Yeah.
So somebody at Warner Brothers was like,
We can
fuck,
do
we
this.
gotta get something on
We
there.
can do this.
Yeah.
They can do it with Batman. Yeah.
So they're still trying to copy War.
I mean, to be
Marvel.
honest, though, it makes sense. Like, if Marvel's exploring the multiverse,
Mm-hmm.
DC probably has a more well-known multiverse anyway, right? So it seems like a natural progression for both of these giant franchises to move toward anyway,
Yeah.
because we've already seen all the other stuff. The next level is, different versions of the same characters appearing together and seeing what happens when you do that. So
You get that Spider-Man meme where the 2 Spider-Men are pointing at each other. That's basically what
oh
happens.
my god. I love it when your marketing strategy is you're basing it off your marketing strategy is a meme. Mm-hmm. That is nirvana. That's the best. You can never achieve more than that.
I'm curious which one came first, the Marvel multiverse or the DC multiverse. Like back with when they were writing the comics in the 60s and 70s.
They're well known for copying each other, right?
Right. I
That's
mean,
a great question.
there's Spider-Man in Marvel, but then there's like Spider-Man in DC, and it's a villain.
Yeah,
Like funny shit like that.
Yep.
Which is pretty good.
right.
And with that, I am done talking about things
Wow.
related to pop culture and nerd stuff.
All right, well, let's talk about politics then. How do you feel?
Christian, it was great having you on this little podcast.
Why are you treating me like a guest?
that you're a part of
Yeah, well-
week over week. Christian still holds the record of being on the podcast the most. I don't think you've missed a single episode.
Yeah, I have no life. That might change. That might change next week. Next month though. Might miss a couple. So.
That's very true. That's very true.
So my streak might be coming to an end, but that's okay.
And with that, thank you for joining and listening. As always, we do this podcast live on youtube.com/wasitgood every Monday and Friday. Our next podcast is going to be this Friday. Check out our Twitter at wasitgood to see what we're discussing. Also follow along on Instagram at wasitgoodbtm. To be completely honest with you, you'll probably see it on the Instagram before you see it on the Twitter in terms of what we're talking about. And as always, we have a website, wasitgood.info. There is a newsletter coming at some point. So that's it. That's everything. Goodbye. I'm done.